something that stood out to me that I don't really hear many people talking about when it comes to growing on YouTube. And it's this idea that you can have a lot of subscribers. Right. The subscriber count is just a vanity number. And just because you have a large subscriber base doesn't mean that you automatically get the views. And so, like you mentioned, there's channels out there, and I know channels, you probably have seen channels like this. I'm not gonna name any names, but there's channels out there who have 1 million plus subscribers who can't even pull 10, 20,000 views per video consistently, right? They might get the occasional 100,000 views on a video, but like they can't consistently, every time they post, they're getting over 6 figures per video. Like they can't consistently do that. When I was first starting on YouTube, I would see this and I would be so confused by that. And honestly, it would kind of discourage me a little bit because it would make me think, well, if they have 1 million subscribers and they can't even get consistent views, like I'm sitting here with 100 subscribers, how am I gonna get views? And it was something that I just really had to learn and observe. And what I kind of came to the conclusion of was that the reason these channels don't get consistent views is because they didn't take the time to build a strong community. Okay, and so that was like the first theory that I like kind of formulated in my head, like, you know, back when I was first getting started. But over time, I kind of began like testing this theory. I would look at channels that had a huge subscriber count but got really inconsistent views, and I would go and I would like watch their videos, and I would see like what were they saying in their video? How were they like interacting with their audience to help like build a relationship with the people who are watching them behind the screen? And I would watch for this stuff, and I would notice that the channels that had really big subscriber counts but got inconsistent views, those people were not doing anything to build a community. Like they weren't doing anything. It was very much so like just a cut and dry robotic process. Like I'm gonna put this video out, whatever happens, happens. I'm not gonna like engage, I'm not gonna do anything. And honestly, part of it is because they just don't know how. Like nobody's ever told them, hey, your views are really inconsistent, you should probably like build a strong community. So with all that being said, and I think this is a good segue, like how do you build a strong community on YouTube, right? And like, why is that even important in the first place? Well, it's important because if you don't build a strong community, then your views will be very inconsistent, period. And that's not what you want. The goal should be to build a channel that gets consistent views long-term. That way you can like have consistent income, you can have consistent growth, where like every single video that you post, you're gonna have a select group of people within your community who watch your videos regardless of what you post, because they're not, it gets to a point where they're not really there for the topic anymore, the content. They're there for you because they just like you that much, because you've taken the time to reach out and engage with them and kind of build that relationship. In order to really understand why it's important, you have to first understand what happens behind the scenes when you post a new video on YouTube, what the algorithm is doing with that video. Now, I know there's a whole entire chapter about the algorithm and stuff, and we do talk about this in that chapter, but I think this is really important to understand it, so I'm gonna reiterate it here again. So when you post a video on YouTube, it doesn't matter if you have 1 subscriber, 0 subscribers, or 1 million subscribers. It's the same process that YouTube is using, okay? When you post a video, YouTube takes that video and they push your video to a really small sample size. If you have 0 subscribers, then the sample size is obviously gonna be a little bit smaller. If you have 1 million subscribers, the sample size is gonna be bigger, but they're gonna push that video to a small sample size of your audience. Or if you don't have any subscribers, they're gonna push it to who they think might want to watch that video based off of the title, based off of the things that you're saying in the video. So let's just say you post a video and you have no subscribers. And so the algorithm pushes your video to 10 people, right? Just to see what those people do with the video. Are they gonna click on it? If they click on it, how long are they gonna watch the video for? Are they gonna engage with it? Are they going to subscribe to you? Are they going to watch even more of your videos? Like what's gonna happen when they push this video to this sample size of people? let's just say that hypothetically 5 out of 10 people that they push your video to clicked on the video, and all of them watched 30% of the video. That's good. That's really, really good. Like the algorithm's gonna see this and it's gonna say, okay, that's good. Let's push this to 30 people now. And then it still keeps getting pretty good traction. It has a good click-through rate. It's getting good view duration. It just keeps pushing it to a larger sample size. Eventually, the video might go viral, right? So that's if you have no subscribers. And it's gonna take a long time for the views to kind of start to build up, because it's like you have such a small sample size that YouTube can work with. Like YouTube doesn't really know who your audience is. Now, let's flip the script a little bit, and let's say that you have 1 million subscribers, and let's just say that out of those 1 million, you have 100,000 people who will watch your videos regardless. 10% of your audience is like really dedicated to you because you've taken the time to build a strong community. When you post that video, immediately, once you post, within the first day, it's gonna have 70,000, 80,000, 90,000 views in the video because of that dedicated audience. And so immediately your video is getting all of these good impressions. All those people are more than likely watching like 50% or more of the video. They're all clicking on it, so the click-through rate's great, the average view duration's great, and YouTube's algorithm sees this immediately within the first 24 hours, and so it starts pushing that video to a much broader audience. Much broader, million plus people, right? And so that gives your video that much better of a chance to get more views, to potentially go viral. Let's look at another scenario. A channel that has 1 million subscribers but doesn't have a dedicated community. They didn't take the time to build their community. They just focus on putting out the content, you know, that's it. It's kind of like a selfish thing. It's like, I don't want to devote any time to like engaging with my audience. I just want to push out the content and hope that people watch. What happens when they post a video? What happens with the algorithm? So they post a video, and let's just say they have 1 million subscribers and they only have 5,000 people who are dedicated to watching their videos, regardless. Maybe the guy's handsome or the girl's pretty or whatever it is, they want to watch the videos. Well, the problem with this is they do have 1 million subscribers, and so the algorithm is going to push it to some of that audience, maybe 10% of the audience, so like 100,000 people, right? Maybe 5%, so 50,000 people. Nonetheless, it's gonna push that video to a very large sample size. And because a large portion of your audience doesn't care about you, they're gonna see the video that was recommended to them by YouTube, and they're just gonna scroll right past it.
It might be like dependent on what the content is.
It might be heavily dependent on the topic, right? Or what the content is. And I don't care. So what ends up happening? The click-through rate gets dragged down. And so if YouTube is pushing your video to 50,000 people because you have 1 million subscribers and only 5,000 people click on the video, that's gonna be a pretty low click-through rate. And YouTube's algorithm is gonna see that, and it's gonna say, oh, this must not be a good video. Let's stop pushing it. And so what ends up happening is these channels have these massive audiences or subscriber counts, right? It's just a vanity metric. They have these massive subscriber counts, but it doesn't like do anything for them. It doesn't attribute to anything. It doesn't amount to anything because they didn't take the time to build a strong community. And so the next question is, how exactly do you even go about building a strong community?
There's 3 really important ways.
Can you just kind of like start it off and
comments?
Yeah. So commenting is the easiest way to build a strong community. That's something that's built into YouTube since the beginning of YouTube back in like 2006 was comments. That's the most direct way that you can communicate with your audience is by responding to comments. There's no other direct way that you can communicate with your audience. That's a direct link to somebody, right? And so if somebody comments in your video and says, hey, great job, respond back to the comment. That's another thing. These channels that have really big subscriber counts, 1 million plus, that's something else that I noticed that I have observed is that they don't respond to any comments. They don't respond to any comments. And it's like, how do you expect people to like feel connected with you, to feel like you're their friend if you're not responding to their comment that they took time out of their day, even if it's 10 seconds, they still took time out of their day to leave a comment on your video. is a huge mistake. And so the first and by far the most important way to build a strong community, and the easiest and most simple way, is by just simply responding to comments. You're showing them that you're a person and that you actually care about what they have to say. You actually care about the fact that they watched your video, chose to engage with you, and you're engaging back with them. Now, will it get to a point where it's impossible to respond to every comment? Yes, of course it'll get to that point.
But if you can at least be intentional about spending a little bit of time, even when you first post the video, and you know, okay, for the next hour, there's an hour or 2 hours go by and I've got about 100 comments. If I can scroll through and respond to a good amount of these people, at least if I can get this first crowd of people to know, like, hey, I saw this, you know. And
it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's another thing. It's like, you don't have to respond back with like the most thoughtful, stoic, like, you know, 5-paragraph. No, thanks, man. Smiley face. Something as simple as that. I appreciate you. Anything. It makes such a big difference. Okay, let's move on to the next point.
Next one is inside jokes, insider information.
This one is not, it's important. It is important. It's not as important as the first one. This one is still important though. So you'll see a lot of guys do this. I mean, everyone kind of does it. And there's different like ways that you can do it as well. So I'll give a few examples and I'll explain what they're doing, why they're doing it, and why they're intentionally like doing this, because they know that it helps to build a community. So a lot of YouTubers will like give names for their audience. They'll say like can you think of any examples? Like what does like Logan Paul, for example, call his? It's like low gang or something like that. Like that's what it was. And there's like, I mean, there's so many YouTubers that have like these names for their audience. And I wish I could give you more examples. You know what I'm talking about. It's like they have these names for their audience. You know, Mayo Nation. I don't have that. I don't have a name for, you know, like Mayo Nation, you know, and so it's like you address your audience with a name, and that's doing something really important. So if you understand anything about human psychology, you'll understand that like as humans, we want to feel like connected. We want to feel like a part of something. It's the reason why in high school you have like these cliques or these groups, because it's like everyone wants to feel like they're a part of a certain group. And the more exclusive you can make it, the better. And so it's like by addressing your audience with a name, it's kind of making it feel like you're a part of something that's bigger than just yourself. Like you can be a part of Mayo Nation as an example, and like you feel like you're a part of some family. That's like one example of kind of creating this insider information, insider joke, insider something. So Graham Stephan, I'm assuming that most of you know who he is, does something at the start of his videos, and used to it was, what's up guys, Graham here. What's up guys, Graham here. That's what he did for years. He then started doing different things. He would like make jokes with that. He would say, you know, like, what's up Graham, guys here. Or like somebody would comment something funny, and then in the next video he would say, what's up, whatever that person said in the comment, it's whatever here. Like he would like incorporate the audience. He would incorporate his community into like this joke. Now, somebody who's coming in watching the video brand new, who's never seen Graham before, they're going to see that. They're not going to think much of it. Right. The people who are dedicated to Graham, though, are going to appreciate the fact that he took the time to like include them inside of his video. Even if it's just that quick. It's 1 second. Yeah. It's 1.5 seconds of an introduction, 2 seconds of an intro. Yeah. But it makes such a big difference. Yeah, it makes a big difference. And so what's the final point? So let's see really fast. The other one is talking in first and second person point of view. Okay, this one's super important. Let me explain what first person is, second person, but then there's also third person. And in most cases, you should never speak in third person. So first person is using words like you, your. I think we is also first person, saying we. Second person is saying like me, I, like yourself. That's like second person. Third person is saying like they, them. That's third person. Okay. Why is this important? Why should you always speak to your audience in first and second person? Because it feels like you're actually talking to them. If I were to say in a video, anybody can become rich, I believe that most people can become rich. All they have to do is just work hard and believe in themselves. That's speaking in third person. Right. If I instead spoke in first person and said, I believe that it's possible for you to become rich. All you have to do is just work hard and believe in yourself, and you can do it. I'm directly speaking to somebody, and that makes the biggest difference in the world. The person that's sitting on the other side of the screen watching you is going to be watching you speak directly to them, because you're saying you, right? Like you're speaking directly to them, instead of being vague and saying, I believe that anybody can become rich. All they have to do is just work hard, and it's like it becomes so disconnected. Yeah. People who end up becoming really successful on YouTube oftentimes do this inadvertently. Like they don't really know that they're speaking in first person and second person. They're just good at communicating. Yeah. And so they almost kind of like inherently know just by intuition that I need to be talking to the camera as if it's a real person, because there is a real person behind the camera, right? Yeah. And so it's like I'm talking directly to you instead of just talking to they somewhere out there. Yeah. And so that's also super important for building a strong community.